Still looking for confirmation here. There we go. Had a little bit of audio reverb there. times, and then YouTube, it looks like we are better. Actually, there we go. So things are sounding better. All right, I think we're all set. So, all right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. It is October 19th, 2021. And let's take a look at where we are in the markets. When we look at our S&P, it's worth noting that we're seeing a lot of bullish momentum and sort of reconstruction of a lot of this corrective move that we've had in the past couple of weeks. The market has seen some sort of interesting breakout structures, some possible technical patterns, most notably the rising swing lows that sort of led to this daily breakout. We are no longer, of course, in a daily downtrend as the market has broken above some of that key resistance on the downside, along with some more constructive settling of where we were prior to this correction, which is trending above the 20 and the 50. You'll note that the market, even in this pre-market, has seen some more rising action here. And as we're coming into this sort of critical 450 level, we can see that the market above 450, this was sort of a shelf of final possible supply and once again possible resistance. But as we dig into shorter time frames, we simply note that the market has once again been doing a lot of very normal activity throughout its volume profile. We've seen moves both to the low side and to the high side, and these moves are getting a bit extended overall, at least from this perspective. So the idea here is that as the market continues to rise and as we're entering earnings season, there may be a bit of volatility and chop that can lead to a lot of back and forth action. We're going to see potential moves in both directions, and those moves may be rather volatile, especially when we get into some of our larger market cap names, with Netflix up to bat this afternoon. Now, a lot of this bullish activity has been part to do with some of the correlative action inside of the NASDAQ. And once again, just sort of noting some of those empirical truths, the NASDAQ is no longer in a daily downtrend. We have broken that trend. And we are seeing that same constructive movement back to the upside in regards to closes above both the 20 and the 50. Now, with the NASDAQ in a weaker position, there is more, I would say, room to travel, and therefore more upside and more possible resistance points. Since we know that the NASDAQ has been providing some of the weakness during the corrective phase, we are looking to the NASDAQ to possibly reject from resistance a bit sooner than the overall market, albeit more tied to what we're seeing inside of interest rates and some of the weakness that the tech market often sees with rising interest rates. So as the NASDAQ is hitting, once again, some key resistance levels and sort of areas of interest before larger downside moves, we simply want to see what is sort of the posture of the market into this level. Are we seeing rejection? And is that rejection leading to breaking of smaller term trends? Something as simple as a 1 hour and simply bringing back our moving averages, we can look to our 20s and 50s to see, is any of that trend starting to be violated? And if so, how significant is the selling pressure at a key level or at key resistance? So market appears to be making that recovery move, but as with any large correction, we do have to respect some of the upside supply and upside resistance on the way back up, basically allowing for the market to oscillate and give us better risk to reward entries, both to the short side and looking to buy possible pullbacks for continuation. IWM continues to hold in this sort of compressed middle range. Definitely still keeping an eye as we're getting a lot of tightening of both moving averages, volume profile, overall technical structure in the form of this pennant. And as we look at a bullish market, we certainly want to be postured inside of an index or different products of an index that may provide additional upside, more so than the normal benchmarks of the S&P or NASDAQ. Something with a bit more volatility and that potential for movement to not have a corrective back test. So let's see, pulled it down to a bit of a shorter time frame there. Once again, just noting, as long as we're staying elevated above VPOC, and if we start to see breaches of previous swing highs, that can provide the fuel to start moving away from value as the market is starting to essentially get away from a fair and balanced price. We need to see breaches of those swing highs to force shorts to stop out, or breaches of the downside to force longs to bail. And that'll allow for this to eventually start to move away from this balance zone. And then finally, our Dow, which we haven't taken a look at in quite a while. With our Dow, bit of an odd picture here, but that same constructive nature. We have reclaimed our 50 in regards to closes above. And if we simply look at some of the highest retracements, some of the highest swing highs that set up lower highs, that has been also breached as well. So we're seeing a lot of that constructive bullish activity return, and we're sort of clearing some of that upside resistance, whether you're looking at levels or diagonal sort of resistance zones. The Dow certainly is constructing itself in a bullish posture. Now, one thing to consider is for the Dow, as we had a different setup, we do have this sort of rising support line, this trend line, that if you're looking just in a more general sense, did act as a bit of resistance. This was that first sort of back test of trend, and that led to additional downside, albeit the Dow never really made new swing lows. It actually just provided sort of a range to evaluate, and eventually became forced into a breakout with what's happening across the board. So yes, we are back testing this trend line again. And as we look a little bit deeper into some of the pre-market action, we are very slightly breaching this area. The Dow, once again, is going to be heavily weighted by certain stocks, ones that at the time of some of this fear-based selling, were actually looking a bit precarious. One of which was Goldman Sachs. We had this, I would say, more clear bearish sort of top that was being placed, this M top, usually a double top for those who are just looking for the more general sense. But more specifically than just a double top, the fact that we came up, retested a low, retested the high, and then came all the way back to the low before breaching. This is very classic sort of bearish and bullish structure depending on where it forms. And the fact that we were starting to threaten losing this area was significant for the Dow, as Goldman Sachs is one of the main holdings. You can see that once again with earnings season, catalysts in regards to interest rates, and also the fact that the bullish undertone of the market has been more of a correlated asset or aspect of what's going on. Goldman Sachs has been able to start to recover back above into this range. And if we're just looking at the range perspective here, Goldman Sachs has the ability to test all-time highs. So one of the more bearish sentiments in regards to a stock of the Dow, in my personal opinion, has been a bit alleviated. That was a possible red flag for the Dow. And now we're seeing a retest of all-time highs, albeit in very short order with how quickly the momentum has returned to the bullish side. Now, as we're starting to look at individual stocks, it could be worthwhile to look at some of our sectors. The market is pushing very strongly back to the upside, but this is not all sectors rallying at the same time. One of our key sectors, which is healthcare, has been a lead bear or just a laggard in the overall sector analysis overview. XLV has pulled down significantly, making multiple swing lows. And even in the sense of just breaking its relative downtrend, I would argue that it currently has not done so. We're still seeing the 20 sloping down, acting as resistance, a relative retracement downtrend line acting as, once again, resistance, and our 50 as well, sitting way above, not reclaimed, nor are we seeing bullish volume enter this sector. So when we think about maybe the market having some additional drawdowns, if we see more downside pressure in healthcare, that could be enough to just simply pull this market down at a key resistance level, maybe all-time highs, maybe approximately this 450 that we're hitting this morning. Healthcare does have some key stocks that are in focus. If I look at XLV and I go to fundamentals, you'll note that J&J is a very similar weighting to United Health Group. Now, United Health Group already reported, but if you're following along with our calendar of different earnings, United Healthcare, fairly strong earnings and reaction, sitting, I believe, at all-time highs. That is correct. But if you switch over to J&J, you'll note that they reported this morning. And as we open just up a 5-minute, we can see that there is a bit of volatility this morning. J&J roughly had about a $5 expected move for this earnings report. So thinking that we closed approximately at 160, this stock could easily move that $5 over the next couple of days, basically testing the top side or the bottom side of its expected move for the week. So just noting that we do have laggards in this market. It is not all bull across the board. And if these laggards continue to sell, they will provide a bit of downside pressure. One more bullish undertone that we may want to wait for is if this market does draw down to something like the 200 and we do see a bullish reaction against it, that may provide sort of the fuel to allow this to break its downtrend and just provide that trading opportunity. You can see here that while we didn't draw down to the 200, this marketplace and this ETF in particular likes to have higher volume lows be set, arguably this one here. And while we've seen some of that high volume activity near the recent lows, what we haven't seen yet is a reaction, basically a bounce through its downtrend and sort of correcting some of the selling. So just from a very simple analysis point of view, keep this one on watch. It may provide either a breakout in the near term and give additional fuel to this market, or if we have poor reactions to some of our key stocks during earnings, we might be able to see a test of the 200 and give us once again a good risk to reward if you're considering a long. Now, shifting into what has been much more constructive, basically repairing some of the selling, has been, of course, tech. Similar to the NASDAQ, we have broken out of our downtrend. We have reclaimed our 20 and 50 with daily closes above. And if you look at shorter time frames, something like a 4-hour is appropriate, we see that we are starting to breach previous swing highs that were setting up this downtrend, basically perpetuating the momentum as shorts are beginning to stop out. So of course that one's going to be more constructive, but when we're talking about lead bulls, it's worth mentioning that consumer discretionary takes the gold for now. We all know, at least in regards to some of our key stocks, that we have Tesla as one of our main momentum stocks recently. It's provided a bit of a bid inside of the EV space, with stocks like NEO starting to break out and seeing some of that sentiment bullish volume as it's moving through something like a weekly high. If you shift this line here, move into a weekly, you can see that structure starting to form on the weekly, setting up that buying opportunity. And so far, 2 weeks of higher highs and higher lows. So NEO has been moving very, I would say, slowly but surely back to the upside, along with different stocks that maybe we haven't looked at in quite a while. The likes of Fisker, XPEV, seeing some of that benefit from BABA and the performance of the China stocks in general. Lee. And then one that was in focus for a while has been Lucid. You'll see that these are more intraday opportunities with the potential for swing. But I would say that most of this sentiment has returned based on some of the performance of Tesla. Usually when Tesla is outperforming, we see a lot of different sympathy plays come into focus, and that can continue for quite a while. The one thing worth mentioning here is Tesla is coming into previous all-time highs. If we're just looking at the highest print of Tesla, we're talking about 900 roughly. We're looking at weekly highs and closes, or confluence of levels. The one that I think is more important is going to be approximately 885 or 880. Essentially this $5 range that I've gone ahead and marked. The reason for that is when you're analyzing things on higher time frames and you look at what the all-time high has done, the reason this one to me does not matter as much is because it's simply a test. It's a candle that was unable to close above a previous buying climax high. Basically, where the buying stopped, consolidation occurred, and then we never got a close above this area before selling began. So when you're doing level analysis, it can be worthwhile to mark wicks on daily, weekly, or whatever time frame you're analyzing. But to me, more importantly, what is the price doing whenever the level is set? To me, the level is set here on this daily candle. You can mark the high, but I do find the confluence to be important on other candles. And then additionally, what occurred after the fact? Do we get closure above at any point, or are these simply test candles that fail to expand the range? So as Tesla's coming into this level, it does not necessarily mean that it is a short. You'll note that Tesla actually spent some time just sort of moving directionally, I would say non-directionally against this level. But intraday, or even looking for this to possibly break out, you definitely want to be aware of these prices and kind of see how the market responds to them as we're testing them for the first time from an extended position. We're certainly in a momentum move on Tesla. And that is one of the stocks that if it does decide to pull back and basically profit take prior to earnings, that can be something that can provide sort of that chop or consolidative nature of the market. Now, it's also worth mentioning that Amazon did catch some of that bid on Friday and continued on yesterday's session. Amazon is our larger holding of our consumer discretionaries, and seeing this one be bid up along with Tesla's momentum is very constructive for the sector as a whole, as these two can provide enough strength by themselves to basically carry the entire sector. So last but not least, shifting back into just things that we continue to watch for clarity, risk mitigation, or whether the market sees fear or hedging in the future. Worth mentioning that the dollar has been breaking down. We went ahead and noted that if we're looking at larger time frames here, we're getting sort of a pause and rejection against a very critical swing low back during COVID. We're also seeing that the dollar is hesitating against a rising channel resistance. You can mark this channel from low points and high points. This is not a parallel channel, more of a megaphone, which is a more undefined sort of structure. Now, seeing this downside means that the dollar has some room to possibly move a bit further lower, and that can provide that energy needed for the market to retest highs. So once again, being early to the party, knowing where the dollar may reject and starting to position yourself in the direction of the benefit of a weak dollar has provided that bullish opportunity in the market. We've seen that with the NASDAQ, and now we've seen it with the SPY as well. Additionally, when we look at market breadth, that more constructive look of recovering the 50 and seeing whether this market breadth is going to act in our favor, specifically with something like healthcare coming back into play. It's worth noting that we know financials as well are very strong. We know that energy has been a lead bull for quite a while, maybe seeing a bit of a pause or consolidative nature as of late. And then now with consumer discretionaries, we have a lot of relative strength and market breadth that's leading us to these highs. This is fairly healthy, especially if we start to see sector rotation take advantage of this bullish momentum. Basically having one sector perform at a period of time and then handing off the baton to a new sector, which allows the market to continue to climb as each sector just sort of takes the lead while the previous leader consolidates or does not necessarily lose its gains. Now, some of the bullish activity in the dollar, or sorry, the bearish activity in the dollar, the drawdown in the dollar, has led to the metals being once again worth mentioning. We know that silver has some industrial applications, and silver has been starting to outperform. We're seeing it come off of both this relative low and once again constructive nature here. We're talking about where does this market reject in the past, something like the 50, and what is it doing now? It's breaking out of the 50, and as long as we're holding this high, we will likely close above the 50. So constructive is more about what has been the issue before, what has been the rejection point, the resistance, the support, whatever it happens to be. Where have strong sellers or buyers come in, and is the market starting to change? When I refer to constructive, that's often what I'm referring to is differences in how this structure is forming. And those are noteworthy because it shows sentiment changing. It shows a shift in what has been the pattern or the structure prior. Something like the 20 and the 50 have been very clear sell points in silver. This is no longer the case, at least at this time. And obviously with that, gold as well. Once again, not outperforming here, but having seen some previous swing lows and basically a rising price, we're going to see if gold can start to maybe compress and whether some momentum returns, maybe when the dollar hits a very key price level back to the downside. So with that said, that's pretty much it. I think everything else has been stated in one way or another in previous sessions. As we start to wrap things up, just pulling back up the earnings calendar. Earnings this week is going to be the main focus for a lot of us as traders. We have a couple of stocks that have already reported this morning. We've talked about J&J, Procter & Gamble, and Philip Morris are the other two. One in the healthcare sector, one not. We have Bank of New York Mellon. And then, of course, after hours, we have Netflix. Since we are not meeting until tomorrow, and some of these earnings will come out as well, you can look at things like BIIB, which is Biogen, Abbott Labs, NE, one of the larger holdings in the utility space, NextEra Energy, and Verizon for tomorrow. And this is just S&P 100 stocks. There are, of course, much more inside of both the NASDAQ. Pull this up. The NASDAQ 100, and then just across the board. But when we're talking about market movers, definitely looking at some of the higher market cap names, and especially the ones that represent a large component of a particular sector or industry. Now, with this type of analysis, or with this understanding of what's coming, just like we talked about J&J, knowing what a stock's potential for movement can often be seen with the option market. And as we've talked about this with the SPX, we've talked about this with just individual ETFs or stocks. As we come into earnings, knowing the expected move of these stocks is also just as relevant as all of our other indexes and other products. So for a stock like Netflix, depending on how we close today, assuming that we close approximately at 640, the marketplace is roughly estimating about a $35 to $36 expected move. And this is into earnings. This is the series that overlaps with the earnings report. Now, the reason that's so important is oftentimes with earnings, you will likely see upside and downside tests of this expected move range. You'll basically have reactions against them, as option markets have already priced in some of the volatility for the week, along with the fact that there is risk associated with breaches of these levels. So the market likes to sort of keep that risk in check unless there is something much more significant mentioned in the earnings report. Those are going to be breaches of expected move and sort of larger than average volatility. But from a day trading, swing trading, option trading perspective, knowing these numbers, especially when you're going into trading one of these stocks, can give you a bit of an edge. Now, we've already looked at J&J. That, of course, is closing around 160, and then the open is going to be somewhere within that $5 range. But when you're looking back at this stock, go to our think back capability here, just moving it back to last weekend, and then pulling up J&J. You'll note that the marketplace priced in about a $5 to $6 expected move, about 5.5. We did close on last week at about 161, so this was likely adjusted before the close on yesterday's session. So thinking about where J&J closed, thinking about a $5 range, and if you are intraday trading, you could likely play some possible reversals or even have targets if you are looking to catch a trend into one of these expected moves. And that, of course, has to be set up with the right structure, but the option market will give you that edge that some traders do not currently know how to obtain. So keep all that in mind. We'll talk about that a bit more this week as we're getting more into earnings season. But as always, trade safe. My name is Jared. Stay tuned for pre-market prep, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you are having an amazing morning. Hope you had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Peter. How you doing today? Peter, cannot hear you.
I'm on mute. So
There
I
we
say
go.
good morning, everybody, and surprise, it is not Norm.
Yes, it is not Norm today. Thank you so much for jumping in and covering for Norm. Appreciate you very much. I see he takes care of certain things on his end. So, with that said, guys, quick look. Well, first, let's give Jared a big thumbs up this morning for his engineering the markets and going and taking us through that market overview there. So, thank you for that. Here, guys, we got quite a bit in the green this morning. As you can see here, tons of names on there, some that we already know. Others that might be a little bit new, but we'll go through that. And only two in the gap down list today. So definitely got our work cut out for us here. Let's see a lot of Bitcoin stuff here up this morning as well. So we'll see. Should be interesting. Quick look of what we had yesterday. We're not going to go into too much detail, but man, it was a pretty good day. Starting here with TIGR Tiger, you can see the breakout here was pretty nice actually. Had a good pre-market activity on this one, and it did translate to a trading day. At least the first half of the day was pretty nice. The second half, not so great, but you did get a couple opportunities there. X very choppy open, guys. Just did not know what it wanted to do here. Again, it was selling off into the market open. Did sell off pretty aggressively here, but right back it recovered again and then sells off again. So again, pretty tough first half hour. From there, it decides, okay, enough of this back and forth. Let's head northeast, and it does just that, guys. Hits the VWAP, and you can see high of the day right on here. Consolidates for a bit, and then you get this beautiful run on X into the second part of the day. So a pretty nice move there. Hopefully, you took advantage of that one. Here is Apple. Apple sells off right before the market opened, and then goes north here again above the VWAP. Hits the high of the day there. Not the high of the day. This is the high of the kind of the pre-market level there, but it does hit that, and then from there it just takes off. Beautiful ABCD patterns. A little flat area here, and then this amazing move right out of nowhere. So that was pretty nice on Apple. Very strong yesterday. Tesla continues to rip higher, guys, up almost 1% again today. Again, just trying to get back to those all-time highs, seems like. So Tesla, not in a clean fashion, though. They were better trading stocks like Mara. Mara yesterday gives you this nice pop here. A little tough first 30 minutes, but then from there, takes off, hits high of the day, continues on. Very, very strong move the first half of the morning. Just incredible there on what that did. Plug was okay. You got this one initial pop at the open, and outside of that, didn't do much. It just got very choppy here. The price action wasn't great. And I know I had this on my secondary list, but we cannot not pass by without talking about AMD. AMD yesterday, Peter, just ripped nicely here. Very, very strong, ending the day very green yesterday. So very nice for AMD there. That is what we have. Let's go into our, yeah, we can't have this show without talking about AMD if you're on. It just can't happen. Let's go into our market pulse.
Well, like I told you pre-market yesterday, AMD had terrible pre-market action, and yet
Yeah.
somehow it still continues to move. So, anyways, whatever. For the markets today, the primary news is already out. I was watching the building permits and housing starts, which was really the news we were looking for. Both were down off of expected levels, not by a significant amount, but the fact that they were down a little bit may cause the market to stutter. We'll see if that has an overall impact. I don't know what to expect, as we've all noticed. If you look at the SPY, every time we think that this is it, right, we're going to see a pretty big pullback, we get a rally. And we've obviously been rallying within the markets over the last 3 or 4 days. And today, who knows, we could continue higher. So let's find out together.
Absolutely. It's so funny. And we talk about this us traders about the SPY, right? Here, the world is falling apart. The world is falling apart. My mom is calling me, everybody saying, hey, what's going on? You're losing money. What's happening? And then I don't hear anything after this. When it's here, everybody's calm. Everybody forgets there's even a stock market at all, right? It's just how the news plays. And it's not that they're watching the SPY. It's just they're just hearing the news when this happens and they react to that. So it's just incredible. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's look at our gappers list this morning. We got quite a bit on here. I'm going to go ahead and remove our watch list from yesterday. Oh, I did that the old way. That's okay. We'll go ahead and get some rows in here. And we'll see what we got going on here. Let's start with the gap up list. BMRA, 10 million shares flow. This is horrible. Doesn't look good at all, guys. Again, very, very bad pre-market activity. We'll move on from this one. IonQ this morning, they are up 5.2, 308,000 shares traded. Looks like a SPAC type ticker at the moment. Again, pretty flat action here, starting to do something now. I typically do not like these. They tend not to move very well. I'm just not a fan of these. So I'm gonna skip on that one. Unless there's any major news, Peter, cut me off, and we'll skip on stuff like that.
I don't really have any news and not much data on IonQ, so I would agree with you. Based on that, I would just avoid it.
Yeah, let's keep it off the list. CIFR this morning, they are up 5.1. Again, no volume, horrible pre-market activity. Skip on to the next one. AG, we had it on our list before. Is one of these tickers that does not trade very well intraday. They're up 5% now, so that looks decent. It could be something. Very light volume for the most part on any day here. Again, they're, if anything possible, is there any major news on these guys? They're up 5%.
No, there's really no news today. They're a Canadian silver miner, hence the symbol AG. But they, like you said, a lot of these miners are tough to play. This is really just, the metals segment has been sort of moving up bullish in the last little while, as both Jared and Brian have been mentioning within the chat room. And I think we're just seeing a continuation of that momentum.
Yeah, we'll put it on here, guys, but most likely not going to keep that on there. Heading down, we have quite a few tickers here, Bitcoin tickers. We have Riot leading the way. They're up 3.7, 357,000 right now. An interesting daily. We talked about the daily on both of these. Compare Riot, comparing it to where's Mara? I don't see it on the gap up list, but they had an incredible day yesterday. But here's Mara. Right, Mara's been just crushing it, and the other ones that have not really followed suit. So if Bitcoin is going to be in play today, the one I would like to watch is Mara after such a clean day yesterday. Maybe a possible continuation, guys. They're trading very, very nice. Getting a little bit extended on the daily here, but I think it's worth still keeping a look at. Maybe Riot as a possible. I mean, they are the one leading the way here with a bigger volume and also a bigger gap up this morning of 3.9. So we'll see if that means anything.
As we keep seeing some renewed enthusiasm, if you pull up the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin obviously has been going up. I don't know if you use that hashtag BTC.
I gotta be careful with that because if I type that in the montage, that shift 3 whatever is a hotkey. So I gotta type it in here. Yeah, I've done that mistake a couple of times. So yeah, if you type it in here, it doesn't trigger the shift 3 or something.
But so as you can see on the daily, since the beginning of October, Bitcoin has really sort of been on a run. But we've seen these before. Really, there's you get this market enthusiasm. People get all excited about Bitcoin, and it moves up until it doesn't. Right. So we're going to see all of those related stock tickers generally follow the health of Bitcoin.
Yeah, we're seeing that now. We got Riot, we have HUT, we have just toss another one on here.
Mara.
Mara is not on here for some reason, but I like Mara today, and BTBT. So you have a couple on there. Heading down, we have Billy this morning. They are up 3.6, 146,000. Interesting day yesterday. I did not have it on my list. They're not really in play. I like their pop here. I like their daily for a possible continuation. This stock is not the best as far as daily, but it can trade very well intraday. We've seen a couple of days where it can do some decent stuff. This morning, I'm not a big fan of pre-market action right now. We'll keep it off our list. Low flow GRVI 6.9 million. Not doing a whole lot, guys. Too light of the volume. We'll skip on that one. Next, we have Riot. Riot this morning, we are sitting. Let's see, Riot here. They are sitting at a gap of 3.4. Oh no, we looked at Riot already. So Riot is good. We have that as a possible. TIGR again, great yesterday. This morning, pre-market action not looking so hot right now. 310,000 shares traded. We're up 3.1. Maybe a possible. Maybe they're trying to get some kind of continuation going here. We'll put them as a possible for now. See if that can lead to anything on Riot. Next we have FUBO. FUBO today, they are up 3%, 168. I feel like this one only moves when they have some kind of news, Peter. When they either have some kind of new contract or something, because it's weird. Outside of that, we never hear from it unless there's something else going on it. So Not sure if you have anything, but if you don't, it's okay. At the moment, the action doesn't look all that good as far as pre-market right now. Let's move this
Yeah, I
over
don't I
here.
don't really see anything. I mean, there was
Yep.
some news on it, but it was really just about coverage. But analysts, estimate of a $50 price target, but that's not really enough news in my mind to cause a jump.
Yeah, that's not. They had a decent day yesterday, looks like here, but you're right. That's not enough news to get this going. Jason, thank you so much for the super chat donation, 10 Canadian dollars there. Thank you so much. Appreciate that very, very much. Going to the breast cancer charity for this month. So appreciate your support on that. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Getting Tiger TIGR, we have MRK. This was the one that went crazy a couple of days ago. 1 million shares traded up 2.5. Not a big fan of it right now. Maybe a possible. We'll take a closer look as we move into the pre-market here. FUTU today. No, not a whole lot going on with FUTU. We'll skip on that one. EQNR, no good. BABA. No good. Actually, no, I take that back. Baba does look good. I like this daily on Baba. I like the pre-market action. Yeah, that looks good. We'll add Baba on there. All right, we'll stop here and we're gapping up this morning. Peter, you're gonna say something?
No, but I will say something. I'll give him the chance. Baba, I do think we're seeing a little bit of almost like relief, is the way I read it, in a lot of the Chinese stocks. There's been no news, no movement from the
No
Chinese
news.
government on regulation. So I feel like we may see a little bit of a rally. People seem to be endlessly, interested in the Chinese stocks, despite whatever long-term threats they face. So that makes them good for day trading if you can catch the right move on them. But keep in mind, while Bubba is gapping up, look at how it ended the day yesterday. It was really sort of pushing down on volume into the close. So hey, it could be volatile, which is all we need, right? Don't really care
That's
if it's
it.
up or down, as long as it's gone.
As long as it can move, that's all we're happy with. So we'll add Baba on here, guys. What's gapping down this morning? We have AVIR, which is down 73%, 8.4 million shares traded. Man, oh
Look
man.
at that daily chart. That's a
Wow.
disaster.
Wow.
So they had a drug they were betting their future on, which was a COVID a drug, and it did not meet its primary endpoints. So there was no significant difference between their drug and the placebo in their test study. And that news came out, and look at the results. So
I remember
here you
this
can see
one.
the downside of somebody that bet their future on COVID. And look at the daily. Look at when the whole growth started on AVIR. You can sort of see the history, right?
I remember this one because we did trade it when it gapped up here, and it was an amazing trade. We traded with MRK. Both of them were active during this time, and look at this, man! Wow. So MRK is MRK is gapping up. So I guess they're doing a whole lot better. They're gapping up slightly, and this one is just getting destroyed. Wow. So definitely in play, guys. It's just, again, a lot of damage has been done here. Not sure how much, how great, how clean this is going to trade. We'll have to see. Definitely in play. We'll take a look at this AVIR right over here. So bad catalyst for them this morning. That I'm not a huge fan of, guys. I don't like the price action right now, neither on it. So I'm going to skip on it for now. BTU energy company here, and had a decent day yesterday. Man, pre-market looks pretty bad, but they tend to do that. And yesterday it ran up pretty nice, looks like here. So we'll put them as a possible. We'll take a second look later down the line. Macy's down 2% after such a huge day yesterday. Wow.
Yeah, look at the full day chart for Macy's yesterday. You can see that it suddenly took off. Was that yesterday? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
And it was a completely sympathetic move, as best as we could all tell. We were all looking for news, and the news was actually against Saks about them looking to spin off their e-commerce units, and the speculation that Macy's might do the same. The thing I love about this is that Macy's as a corporation at the beginning of the day yesterday was worth about $7 billion. They're estimating their e-commerce division, which is currently part of Macy's, was estimated to be worth $14 billion on its own, which,
wow.
Anyway, how? I have no idea, but that was the basis on which Macy's put in this growth. That is the largest single day gain in over a decade for Macy's. So I think it's not unexpected that we're going to see a little bit of pullback, especially if Macy's does not comment on that story or their intent to, separate their e-commerce, because management had been resistant. There was an investor, what do we call it? A significant investor, anyways, was agitating the board to try and get this to happen, which is where that number came from. So obviously it was to their benefit to push the stock price. But this is really sort of like almost like a no news event. So Macy's, remember, it's a NYSE stock. We were talking about this yesterday in the room, which means you got to be careful in the movement. It doesn't get the same, big movements normally, like the big jumps we like that we trade off of as day traders. So just be careful whatever you choose to do with Macy's.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. We haven't seen Macy's move like this in quite some time. I mean, this is a big move. We saw some of that here back in August, but man, this is pretty decent. So definitely going to keep them in our list today. Here's PG, guys. PG this morning, they are down 2.2. Typically don't trade very well, but I do like this pre-market activity this morning. They're down 2.2, back to some levels of support. Could be interesting today. I'm going to add it on here. Their price action at the market open could be a little choppy at times, but definitely something's up. Nice pre-market action this morning with some okay volume. That 152 is actually decent for them.
Yeah, they were one of the ones that had earnings. So we were just at the front end of earnings season. Procter & Gamble beat on the top and bottom line. Most of the other earnings we haven't talked about because they haven't hit our list. But since we're sort of to the end of the list, J&J, Johnson & Johnson, had earnings this morning as well. They were short on revenue, but beat on earnings per share. Ericsson, which is one we don't normally trade because it doesn't trade well, but they also have
what's
the
that
same
ticker?
profile. Which one? ERIC, Ericsson.
Yep. Yeah.
The only other one that I normally keep an eye on just in case was Philip Morris, PM. Again, not usually a good trader. If you look at the daily, it's not awesome, but they have had some movement over the last month or so, a couple of months, I should say. So I'm trying to understand their revenue. I haven't had a chance to dig into it yet, but their revenue was like 3 times their expected. So they must have had some significant one-time event, but I haven't figured out what that event is yet.
Gotcha. We'll put it on here as a possible for now. We'll see if anything comes out of that. All right, guys, we're going to stop here. We're going to go straight to announcements because Peter has a commitment at 9. So I want to make sure you get to your commitment on time, Peter, there. And thank you for covering for Norm. So we're going to go straight to announcements. Then we'll come back. Don't worry. We did not forget your tickers. We'll come back and look at some tickers from the chat and YouTube as well.
Well, that's great. Well, let's do that. And as Carlos mentioned, we had some change up in our lineup for this week and the activities that are happening. So is this is current? Yes, I see Artie here for tomorrow. So that's fantastic.
No, that's tonight.
Tonight, right? It's Tuesday. Oh my goodness, time flies. All right, so tonight in our strategy and trade book webinars, Artie is going to be presenting using directional weekly options. Now, he does a session for us in the room, actually, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where he talks about his option strategy. He does a great job about going through what he's trading, why he's trading that, what he's looking to set up, and his strategy behind it. So for those of you that are members, you get the advantage of seeing that. Artie's put together a more formal presentation where he's going to take us through some of his thought process and the material so that you can effectively use weekly options yourself. So that'll be tonight. And is this right, Carlos? It's an early time at 5 o'clock?
Yes, it is, because there is some other stuff happening in the evening we don't want to conflict with. So yeah, this will be at 5 p.m. So if for those that have a meeting at 8, you can still make this one tomorrow. So just remember 5 p.m. today for the Success webinar. Perfect.
So an hour after the market close, we will have that in our webinar room. Next week, Kyle will be back with talking about the important metrics to journal. So, journaling is a very personal exercise, but it's always good to get tips of what other people are doing to find a journaling strategy that works for you. Whatever you do, just journal. But Kyle will talk about the metrics that he feels are most important to put in your journal. That'll be next week at 8 o'clock on October the 26th. And in our psychology series, today we will be, tomorrow, I gotta get these days right, my goodness. Nada will be back with us talking about creating a successful mind mindfulness meditation routine. So she does a series on mindfulness. It's always very useful. And if you haven't practiced mindfulness, I would highly recommend you do so. It helps. It helps significantly in trading. And even if you're not sure about it, trust me, it makes a significant difference. So that'll be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And then next week, we have a new presenter with us. So Andrew Menaker will be talking about techniques to improve your trading psychology. So that'll be next week, October the 27th at 8 p.m. This month, as we've been mentioning, all of the super chats are going to the National Breast Cancer Foundation, and we are matching them dollar for dollar. So thank you again for all your generosity to everybody on YouTube who's providing, and those in the room that are also making donations. We hugely appreciate it, and thank you for being out there. By the way, don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. We deeply appreciate that, as well as any of the super sticker or super chats that you send our way. For all of our members, we love seeing your trades, especially, well, they should be live trades, but if you are trading live and not in a sim account, then please send us your member trade of the day. Just post it on Twitter. We get you guys sharing tons of trades in the room, and we like to see them on Twitter. We will pick the trade of the day from all those that are shared with the tags and hashtags that you see listed there. Mike then picks the best one, and you get bragging rights of being the trade of the day, and we will retweet that. And then every week, all of the moderators vote, and we come up with the trade of the week. So continue to send those in. We love seeing them, and thank you for doing so. If you want to join us in the room, use the code premarket24. That will get you a discounted rate for a 1-week trial in the chat room. You know, we run what we think is a fantastic chat room. We do our best to provide advice and support to all of our members, and it's a great room, but it's not for everybody. So give it a shot. See if it's for you. See if you find value. We promise you that if you sign up for that, it's not one of those where you now get spammed from here till eternity. You know what? If you do not want to join, you will not hear from us again. We will not bill your credit card. We will not start sending you spam. But give us a shot. We love to have you as part of our community. If you do that and you decide that you want to join us, use the code FALL40 to get 40% off our annual elite membership rates. That gives you access to everything, right? There's no extras. You have all of our webinars, all of our training material, all of our education material, the chat room, you know, during all market hours, plus the live mentorship sessions that we run many times a week that Artie, Andrew, Jared all give during the trading days. So hopefully you will join us in the trade room and take advantage of all of that content. With that, we've got, as always, a bunch of levels to set, and I think it's going to be a good trading day. So
yes. Yes, me too, me too. Peter, thank you so much for covering, man. I know you have to run. Appreciate it very, very much.
No problem.
All right, guys, let's start here with the chat. Who do we have? Let's go into our tickers here. Steve, let's start with you. You have Neo. Let's see what Neo has given us this morning. Neo, big day yesterday. What did Tesla do yesterday? I know they were, oh yes, that's right. They broke into the highs. Yep, yeah. Tesla is also in play, guys. I think this stock is very, very strong. Worth adding on here, Tesla, and I think Neo as well. We'll fine tune this list and get some stuff off of here, but I think these two are pretty good. For example, as much as I love this one, AVIR, I think it's going to be difficult to trade. I think it might be one that I put in our secondary list, right? So I'd rather have like a Neo if it's going to be trading well, which right now we've seen some good volume. Good day yesterday, possible continuation today. Fuel cell, anything good happening with fuel cell? Big day yesterday. Again, a lot of stocks had a big day yesterday. Today, possible continuation. Their pre-market does look good. I like their range. Oh no, this is Neo. Okay, this is Neo, because typically this is not what fuel cell looks like. So I got to change that. All right, let's see. Let's see if fuel cell is going to surprise me. Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah, this is more like fuel cell. You get the chop here. You know, it's just not great pre-market. Nevertheless, a great day yesterday. Possible continuation. They got great volume, guys. 4.2 million. yeah, worth taking a look at. There's some earning stuff that we put on here that is not yet looking too good. We're going to have them on here just in case they get going after the bell. But for the most part, some of those could fall off and we can replace them with something a little bit better. Neo is good. We have that on deck. Mara. Yes, we have Mara. Mara is looking very good this morning, very active. A little bit extended on the daily. So who knows if we're going to get a down play this morning. We'll see. Trying to stay above the pre-market, the previous day close here, as you can see now. But it has some good volume, great pre-market activity. Definitely like that one. Tesla is good. We'll keep that on there. EDSA prior player here is gapped up, and you can see it ran up pretty nice this morning. They're up 18%, 2.8. Don't like the pre-market right now, right? We had the one gap and now we're just kind of selling down. So we need to find some kind of base here to take this north. I don't see that just yet. Maybe starting to build up there. So I'm not going to add it to my list at the moment. What is the float on this? We are looking at 8.4. You know, we don't have a low float today. This could be it. EDSA, this will be our low flow. It has the volume, it has the gap up. The pre-market's got to show us some movement towards the upside here, some kind of support happening at the moment, right? We're not seeing that just yet. mRNA, I see that being thrown on both sides of the field here. Let's see, mRNA daily looks good, guys. I do like this consolidation we're getting here. Now we're slamming up against the top of this 342, so that is nice. Pre-market action, it's okay. We've seen better volume from them, but not bad, right? mRNA is not going to give you an incredible pre-market action. So yeah, we have so many here today, but mRNA is worth taking a second look at as well. Heading down, PROG. What's PROG? PROG. They're starting to get going now. I definitely do not like their pre-market activity here. You see this way this forming. Obviously, it's getting a lot better now. I'm still not a big fan of this one. Yeah, I'm gonna skip on this one, guys. Lower price stock. The daily's a little funky as well. I believe today we can find stuff that's gonna trade better than this. You know, I'm hoping, Logan, that we can find stuff between Neo, even Macy's was moving pretty nice this morning, very active. Baba has a great pre-market action. I think we can find something better than what that looks like at the moment, right? Might change, but I'm gonna stay away from that one for now. I got too many of when it comes to EV vehicles. I got Tesla, I got Neo. I'm not gonna add XPEF, but this one also looking nice for possible breakout. Volume's a little bit lighter than the other two, but still, you know, decent there. Yanni is saying no AMD. Well, since you just mentioned it, let's go look at AMD and see what we got going on. Big day yesterday. Pre-market activity looks good. Yeah, we'll add AMD as well based on some of the stuff that's on there. Also for Peter joining us this morning, we'll add AMD in his memory there. At WMT. Walmart's up. That's interesting. 2%. Any news? These guys barely move unless there's some kind of catalyst. So they're up 2% this morning. That looks pretty nice. Let's see if there's any catalyst going on. Rich upgrade. Okay, who's the upgrade from? Somebody. Goldman Sachs. Okay, that's good. That's good. Goldman Sachs is good. All right, we might need to stop here, guys, because we have way too many. We might need to stop here. Let's do this. Let's get rid of some of the stuff that might not be moving well. J&J, you know what? As much as I like these guys, they have earnings. That's great. But we got to remove them. BTU, nope, no good, no good. Let's get rid of this. Make some space. Riot is good. So I got Riot and Mara. Let's keep one. I think I'm going to keep Mara. That's looking rather nice there. They're extended on the daily. So if we're going to get some kind of sell-off here, I'd rather be on something that's a little bit extended than a Riot. And Riot hasn't moved a whole lot. So we're going to sell down. They don't have much room to get to on the downside. So we're going to keep Mara. And you know, I think it just looks a little bit better this morning. AG, you know, I know they have some stuff going on here, but they're just horrible. Let's get rid of them. I think we find something better. TIGR, great day yesterday. Today, not looking so hot right now. We'll get rid of it. MRK, what do we have on MRK? Let's keep this one for now. PM, oh yeah, PM, again, they got news here, but their pre-market action, no good. We'll keep it there for now. Let's see, Mara, Baba, AVIR. I think this is really more of a possible. I think it's going to be a very difficult stock to trade. There's a lot of technical damage done on this thing already. They got great volume, down 73%. Insane, guys. This thing hanging out at 40. Now you're hanging out at $10. Can you imagine waking up to something like this? You know, wow, brutal. So I believe it's going to be tough to trade. We'll have to see. Macy's is good. PG is okay. Tesla, Neo, and GS. Okay, we got a little more space here. Let's head over to YouTube, see what we got going on over there. We have Apple. What's going on with Apple? Apple's good. Yes, the Apple's, I like Apple. I rather, instead of PG, I rather watch like an Apple. Right, this is good here. Great pre-market activity. We got some volume. Big day yesterday, possible continuation today. A lot of these stocks are set up nicely for a possible continuation. I like the ones that are above the close of yesterday, right? So Apple is above it. There's some that are sitting down here, still could be good, but I like when they start breaking out above what the previous day close was yesterday. Apple is holding that, so that is nice. We'll keep a look on that one. Watts, WATT. What do we have here? Lower price stock. You're pushing some big volume here as well. 28% up this morning. I don't really like the daily. I think we looked at this before. Yeah, again, one of these stocks that you can do very well if you catch the right move here. But I'm gonna stick with some of the names that we've been trading for some time here. Macy's we do have, yes, upgrade. That's good. Sophie, however you say this one. Yeah, okay. It is okay. I don't see it being better than some of the other stuff we have here on our list, right? It is not bad, maybe a good possible, but I don't see it being better than like a Mara, right? Look at the range you have in Mara. Even Baba this morning, guys, you have a nice range pre-market activity, and you have a beautiful daily, right? And we know Baba can trade very, very well. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one. Macy's this morning. Nice big pop. Hopefully we can get above the previous day close for a nice continuation there. PG, big drop here. That's good. Tesla. Yeah, so I don't see it be better than some of this on here. Plug was on our list yesterday. What are we doing today? Their daily has been pretty interesting, right? We had this nice gap up and we sold off pretty aggressively the following day, found a way to bounce back off 31. Can we get going up to 34 here, right? So they have a very interesting daily. We could wait for this one to hit our scanners. The volume is a little bit lighter right now. We could wait for this one to hit the scanners, or we can also wait for one of our members to call it out. They see something great on this one. So I'm gonna keep it off my list today, especially with how many we have at the moment. APRN, no good. Let's head down to SLV. This is silver. Again, we have a couple of silver stuff here. What's the other one that we had on there? You can watch this one. I'm not gonna keep an eye on it, but this is definitely silver is in play, guys. It is popping up this morning. If RX, no, you got some. Look at this volume, 5.8 million shares traded. Look how that's trading. It's just pure garbage right now, guys. Not looking good. Be careful with this one. Lower price stock. The daily is horrible. Again, today they're trading, 3 times more their usual volume, maybe more. Just be careful with this, guys. Very, very careful. Okay, let's stop here, guys. We got quite a bit. This is a lot to watch today, and it's only going to keep growing as things start hitting our scanners here. You can see some names that are coming up here, like what else we have here? GRVI. We got some other names coming up here, and it's going to get longer and longer. So Walmart popped up here now, but someone did mention that, so we have it on our list. Yeah, I think we have a lot to watch this morning. Let's fine tune this list as best as we can. Your list today could look completely different, and it's going to be okay because there's just so many tickers that look decent this morning. Let's try to get at least 6 to 4 and a decent possibles list here. So Mara, I like Mara this morning. I think they're looking pretty decent so far, and keep an eye on the Bitcoin stuff if anything's going to happen there. I think Baba has an amazing daily. We'll keep that one. Macy's looks good. This morning had a big day yesterday. We got to see how much juice is left on that one. PG, I think I'm going to move PG down, guys. I think this is more of a possible, more of a possible. Let's move this one down from here. Between Tesla and Neo, I'm not going to watch both. I think on our main list, maybe Neo. Maybe Neo. They both look very similar. You can't go wrong with either one at this point. Neo is a little bit higher right now. Tesla has the potential to break this high of the pre-market that we have here. You know what? We'll go with Tesla. Let's go with Tesla today. Neo is still a very good secondary. I like this better than some of the other stuff we have on there. So I'm going to go with Tesla. I think their breakout potential could be a bit more aggressive. They are extended here on the daily, guys. This is a nice run above 820. I mean, nothing but green from them since the 11th. I mean, these guys have been on fire. They broke out of here, right? They had a little consolidation for about 3 weeks. Broke out on the 11th, have not really looked back. So pretty nice stuff here on Tesla this morning. Good volume. GS, No, this is more of a possible, if even that, right? I think I'm gonna just remove this one, guys. Again, very difficult stock to trade. I'm gonna take it off our list. Apple is very good. We'll keep Apple on deck coming down here. And then secondary, let's start from the bottom. We have our low flow here, EDSA, which is still not looking good, guys. Continues to sell off, so this is not a good sign for us there. mRNA as a possible is good. They have an amazing daily. Do love that. PM, yeah, I'm gonna have to get rid of PM. Let's get rid of PM. We gave you a chance, but you're not doing it for us there. MRK, we got volume here, guys. They're up 2%. I think they can be something, but we had this before when it gapped up. This was the same day when AVIR gapped up, right? I'm just not sure what's moving them this morning. I think it's worth taking them off our list here. Fuel cell could be something. AMD is nice, similar to what Apple is doing a little bit here, coming back towards that previous day close. Big day yesterday. We have it here as a possible. AVAR, again, just continuing to push volume around here. This is going to be a tough trade. If you are going to be watching this in your main list, just be careful with the number of shares you take. Also, you might want to wait a little bit. Let it settle down. 30 minutes can do magic. Let that stuff settle down. Let some of the craziness happen. When this thing opens up, I mean, there's going to be people panicking on this stuff, so just be careful on there. PG, I like their pre-market action. It's not done much in the last couple of minutes, but I do like this drop here. I like the fact that we're going up against some levels of support there. Maybe we can get either a bounce or a drop. I think their volume is a little bit on the lighter side. I think I'm going to end up removing this one, guys. Let's get rid of this one for now. They have some potential, but I think I'm going to get rid of it. Let's remove it for now. Hopefully somebody else is watching this, and if you see something, say something, we'll take advantage of it. All right, I think we have a very decent list. Let's get to some levels. We got Mara on here, guys. Let's get some levels in place. High of the pre-market, 52.64. We'll slam a level there, guys. Towards the bottom, you're pretty much set. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Let's head towards the left here. Go all the way back, and we see some stuff here in March and April. We got some peaks over here over at a 54.46, and all the way up here at a 57.75. So that's pretty good for now. Nice move since October. It's just been ripping higher here. Mara, again, if you look at other companies, like other tickers like Riot, they have not had the same success as Mara has the last couple of weeks. So interesting. So Mara is good. We'll keep that one on deck. Baba here, guys. I do love this daily on Baba. Again, as Peter mentioned earlier, there's no news out of China's government in stocks. So they just seem to be doing their own thing. The minute something comes out, they just start going crazy here. So let's take advantage of this. Hopefully this thing can result into some kind of movement for Baba towards the top. Again, when they trade in one direction, they are pretty decent for Chinese stocks. So definitely have them on deck here. Towards the bottom, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days on there. Here's Macy's. Macy's right now, pre-market activity looks okay. Had a big day yesterday. Do they have any juice left? I mean, it's pretty nice move there. Low of the pre-market, 27.54. Your pre-market high is a little bit lower than the previous day close, over at 28.17. So we'll mark that down, and we are pretty set there. Wow, we haven't been up here. This is not all-time highs. No way. Is this all-time highs for Macy's? Is that where we at here? I can't go back anymore. No, yeah, I'm sure it's got to be something higher than this. I thought Macy's had seen better days. It's not, right? Okay, so it's just probably way back there. Yeah, Macy's have to have seen better days for sure. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. All right, so but 52-week high for sure. So this is still a major move for them this morning. Let's see where this goes. Towards the bottom, I'm going to mark down just this one here, 25. You can come into this day here, find some areas of support and resistance. We don't have the time to do that now. And you can get some levels in between here, right? Maybe at 27, 27.50 or so. Maybe you could find that there. But I'm going to keep it the way it is for right now. Let's see where Macy wants to go. Tesla, guys, showing some true strength in the last couple of days here. High of the pre-market, 880. Towards the bottom, highs and lows, previous day close are taking care of you there. Let's look towards the top here. We do have January, beginning of the year. We have our 9, I think it's like 8.99 or something, but all-time highs right there. And again, we're not too far from that. We are not too far from that, guys. A couple of bucks. So Let's see what Tesla wants to do here. It looks like it's really pulling to get into that all-time high situation there. Here's Apple at the moment coming back towards the previous day close a little bit. Let's see if it can stay above that high of the pre-market all the way at 147.64 towards the top. Nice level here, guys. Great area of support. Then becomes resistance before we had the actual breakdown. So that 148.62, you definitely want to have that on there. And then we have another great level here on the daily as well. It's an area 150.68. Got tons of resistance happening around that area as well, here, and here. So that's looking good on Apple. Big day yesterday. Let's see where this goes today. Like what's happening there. All right, secondary list, NEO, guys. I think NEO could be a real good one as well, so keep an eye on that one. AVIR, this is entertainment for now. I mean, I just don't know how you would trade this. We'll have to see. AMD, it's good. Fuel cell, we got a very decent possibles list. Like on a regular day, this could be a main list easily, right? We got a lot to watch. Let's see what our moderators are looking at this morning. Well, as I am switching over, guys, over on YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it very much, and it helps us out a ton. That little 2 seconds of you hitting that little thumbs up does amazing stuff for us and the algos and the channel and all that fun, good stuff that we love. So thank you for that. Appreciate your efforts in moving your thumb or your finger, your index, or whatever you're using, or your touchpad. We appreciate it very much. Okay, let's see what's in play here from our moderators lineup. Starting with Thor, CCL, SPY, Apple, Facebook, secondary list, American Airlines, and AVIR. Simon is looking at Bank of America, Apple, or RKT, Rocket Mortgage, Oxy, couple of key levels there that he would be looking out for. Eamon likes Oxy, HUT, and American Airlines. All potential shorts, nothing long for Eamon this morning. Guys, take a look at the video that Eamon and Simon put together yesterday on YouTube. Just amazing information. These two guys are working on some pretty cool stuff. You're going to be seeing that throughout this week and coming up, more information on that. So definitely keep a lookout for that video. If you haven't seen it already, definitely take a look at it on our YouTube channel. Jared is looking at NEO, Tesla, AMC, J&J, secondary list, fuel cell, mRNA, PLBY, swing idea, and then he also BITO there he's looking at this morning. Oh, let's go back down. Who we have here? John, I think this must be one of John's longest watch list, guys. So kind of touch what kind of day it is here. AMD, Roku, Microsoft, and Tesla for John for possible breakouts there. Dima is looking at Apple, SoFi, Plug, AMD. Peter, no IPOs today, no SPACs. Well, a couple of SPACs there. Tiffany's looking at Apple, Tesla, Baba, and Mara this morning. Brian likes Z, which was in play yesterday. I think you traded Z yesterday as well. Brian at Walmart, mRNA, Billy, which is one of his favorites there, and OLB for fun. Facebook's looking interesting too. Here's Andrew's list, guys. Apple, AMD, long from yesterday. Are you? Very nice. Very nice. That's a good move. Brian's watch list for me too. Not a big fan of anything. Yes. All right. So I know Andrew had a great entry on AMD. Oh yeah, it's looking good, guys. Looking very good. AMD is just unbelievable. Hopefully things run nicely today. Guys, we have a very nice list this morning. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. It's a lot to watch, a lot in play. The one advice I'll give you is do not jump around from ticker to ticker to ticker, right? Set your list. You are going to miss some stuff that other people are watching and trading. It's just going to happen because there's a lot. If you look at our moderators lineup, everybody has to almost completely different watch list because there is a lot in play, and that's okay. So focus on your list. If you see opportunities, take advantage of it based on your trade book. But if somebody else is trading something else, don't just leave your trade, jump into somebody else's trade just because you have the fear of missing out. So got to control that today because it's going to happen. There's a lot moving, a lot in play. So please be very careful. All right, guys. Thank you over on YouTube for joining us this morning. We appreciate you guys very much. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so already. We'll be back live tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern time with Engineering the Markets. And tonight, guys, this evening at 5 p.m., we have Artie with the Success webinar. So looking forward to that, guys. Remember, at but different time, 5 p.m. Eastern time, not our regular 8 p.m. So an hour after the market close, we'll be joining Artie in the Success webinar room. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. So see you guys there. Take care and trade safe, everyone.